in busy and interesting afternoon. So the next session is a virtual session. So I have the pleasure of introducing the next speaker, another fellow Italian, Pierpaolo Franco, from International Markets Development in charge of the International Market Development, Pierpaolo, from Glodon. Pierpaolo, are you with us? Yes! Hi again. Can you hear us? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, Pierpaolo, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I suppose you can hear me now. So, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I understand you are just coming back from lunch, so I have the very hard and challenging task to keep you awake. And I have this challenging task speaking about data and digital building platforms. So good luck to me. Anyway, I'm Pierpaolo Franco, and I'm Vice President for Glodon, and I'm looking after the international market development. As Cristina said, I'm Italian, and today I'm in Beijing. So Glodon is, allow me to introduce a little bit Glodon to understand why I'm speaking about this topic. So Glodon is an international organization, is a digital building platform service provider. Is in the market for more than 25 years nowadays, and has started its core business from developing solutions for the cost management on a life cycle basis, and then enlarged its area of work up to all building life cycle, and then increase more into a city information modeling approach. So we have the possibility to look after the development of the built environment from a digital provider perspective, but across the whole life cycle. As you can see from here, we have been developing our footprint internationally through acquisition and organically. We have predominant presence in China, as you can understand, and we have different research and development center, both built in China and overseas. Here you can see our footprint. It's quite a decent company. We have nowadays more than 10,000 employees. We operate, as I already said, in China and in China mainland, in Greater China, in Southeast Asia, and then we have a presence in the continental Europe, in UK, and in US. Mostly on the research and development sector. So this is to let you know a little bit about with whom you are speaking with. And it is also important to underline that during our development, we have been able to develop independent property rights on key technology that are the cornerstone of building a digital asset and then more a digital city. So, of course, BIM and CIM technology that are at the center and the core, the engine that moves everything. The IoT technology, the big data technology, artificial intelligence through a number of research centers, and of course an environment that is cloud-based. Within the cloud-based, it says that it has to be neutral cloud-based, enabling a possibility of being interfaced to different cloud systems. All this why linked to the data, because data needed to have an infrastructure and a platform to be exchanged. Data need to be trustworthy, need to be accountable, need to be enough to help and facilitate decision, and has to be on a real time updated. So per se, it is in our opinion that cannot be separated between the part of the processes of the building life cycle, if you're talking about a building, and if you're enlarging the concept on a city, about a city development or an urban development. And so needs this infrastructure, a digital building platform that allow the data flow from the beginning to the end of the life cycle, and even on an ongoing basis where the building needs to be refurbished or need to be demolished and then rebuilt. This leaves us to a new world, a world that is a digital building world, a physical building world, and a people world, so a mental world. And this is a new model to think about a new type of design, a new type of construction, and therefore a new type of operation and maintenance of the building, where the production is not just only the asset that we are going to produce, but the data are a new production element. And internet, the industrial internet, is the new infrastructure where these data are sitting. And we have a new model that transforms what was before just and only a physical world into a digital world and a mental world. So matching together the people, the buildings, and the decision-making tools that is the digital platform, the digital building platform that help us through the whole life cycle. This is a substantially similar but different view of what I was saying. So if we analyze the life cycle of an asset, more or complex or simple, we see that in reality we go through very typically silo approach in the past when we haven't a digital system supporting us. So we have the design, then we have procurement, then the production, and then the construction, and of course then the delivery with the operation and maintenance. The industry, the construction industry and the built environment industry has always struggled with the concept of being having a process through the whole life cycle that should be very interconnected, but on the other hand are living in a silo type, very sometimes even very disconnected one to the other, not optimizing the flow of the data and creating sometimes issues, problem, data that are not updated, data that are not trustworthy, prone to have to bring with them errors because of the nature of them. On the other hand, this new digital infrastructure promoting a new building industry will help the whole flow of the data, creating a digital cloud environment, a digital procurement, and so on, up to the end of the life cycle, where the data are sourced by the design itself, so the drawings mainly, contract, human being input, and then the procurement, so data on supply chain, purchasing, and bidding purpose, and then the production, so the site. When we go into the site, the building does not exist yet, so the data are input from a non-existing, a virtual, a digital building, up to when the building is in operation, then is the building itself to exchange the data to the digital building platform that is alive, is updated, and give to the owner an immense source of information and data that are coming from the very beginning, from the design, and are at disposal of the operation or the operator of the building, the occupiers of the building, with a consistent flow of data that are updated in real time. And this data, when the building in operation, should come from the building itself and the equipment that the building has, the machinery that the equipment has, and the sensor that the building has, due to the design that has been already thinking about the operation of that. In essence, it is extremely important that since the very beginning, since the beginning of the design phase, all the parties are working together to think about how to maximize the efficiency and the operation of the building itself. In this way, the building will be equipped to be delivered to the owner and all the occupiers as a physical asset, but also as a digital asset. In this slide, you can see this double V that represent the physical world and the virtual world in each step, how they can interact to each other, and how a baseline of work transfer the data from the physical and the virtual world. Of course, we can mention so many things, but due to the not having enough time, I would just like to mention a couple of things. In the design phase, as you can very well understand, we can make an enormous amount of simulation, and as well as in the construction phase, and we can bring together this simulation to fine-tune the design, to understand which are the materials that are better suited for the purpose of the building. We can simulate some activities that need to be done on site for the construction, depending on the complexity of the structure that we are building, and as well as we can make environmental simulation to understand how the building will have an impact as far as the sustainability is concerned, but also as far as the materials that are chosen, to understand if it is optimized or not. In other words, the digital platform represents a bridge between the physical world and the people living in the asset that we are looking after, and give us a support, an intelligent decision support that allow us to have a better use of the building when it operates, to have a safer and more efficient construction when we build, and coming back and optimize the source for the materials and the supplier for the building itself, and an optimized design. So you have seen from the design to operation and back, how the digital building platform can support a better building. In this example, you can see how we can create a match between the supply and the demand, because of course all the data are connected. It is digitally driven, and it can give us a much more efficient procurement, and much more efficient information about projects, and a much more efficient information about the selection, so the enterprise. Of course, imagine this applied in a larger scale, we can have a global, if not a national, digital supply library, and therefore it is possible to optimize the procurement, as well as if we link this to tools like blockchain, we can have data security and transparency that goes along all the life cycle, eliminating many risks and guarantee that the data are trustworthy. As another example, you can see here how if we digitalize the physical building, if we digitalize the construction site and the digitalize of the management, so the various process for the when it comes to the construction project management, you can see that thanks to a platform that encompasses in it Internet of Things, big data, artificial intelligence, of course powered by cloud and 5D, we can have a real-time perception of how the site is the construction works on the site are progressing. We can have a focus on critical tasks and activities that are need to be guaranteed and are also sometimes the one that are representing risk for health and safety, and have an intelligent decision center that allow the project manager to take the decision in a more efficient way, looking at the business and the safeguard of the people on site. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this not because I believe that a digital building platform is going to substitute the people. I do believe that construction is still a people business, but I believe also that we need the digital support to make it more efficient and productive, and also creating a better living environment for everyone who is involved into this supply chain. As I was mentioned before, conscious of the time, this is an example on how this process can really streamline by the use of tools like blockchain, where the information in the whole life cycle of a process, or in the whole life cycle of the project, are stored, are guaranteed to be safe, and historical data are at disposal of all the stakeholders across the process. So there are no needs, for example, to investigation and third-party certification, but everyone is, every party are truly visible, and therefore we can reduce transaction costs and risks. So to finalize my speech, I would like to focus on three things. So some benefits for the design. Of course, as I mentioned before, the designer and engineering benefit from the data that is exchanged from the platform in real time, because they can have opportunity to model, simulate, have different scenario, and improve the optimization of the design, strictly connected to the environmental issues, so guarantee that the building also has performance that are also sustainable. And there is a significant environmental impact that is helping to achieve targets like the net carbon, and we can track, for example, embodied carbons and operational carbons. Then the construction, as I mentioned, the digital twin technology and the data, the two-way data flow. So from the drawings and the people, and then from the building when it is in operation, allow definitely much more efficiency in the in each stages, including but not limited to the construction. Have a strong and enhanced collaboration between all the parties, and definitely reduce rework from both the human being point of view, so the workers on the site, but also a rework of materials, for example, like reworking piping because has not been built according to the design, but thanks to the simulation and the digital platform at disposal, it is very possible that these reworks reduce significantly. And of course, without mentioning, improve the safety and securities for the people working on the site. Last but not least, if we focus on the operation, of course, we can have an environment that benefits from having a physical building connected to the digital building, and online in real time having data that are updated. So this definitely speed up decision making as far as activities that are linked to normal operation, preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance. Ensure that thanks to the sensor and the Internet of Things that the asset is provided, there is a seamless maintenance process, but also a monitoring of hazard and accident that can happen within the building. The physical building is improved its efficiency because, of course, there will be a much more accurate maintenance, and so the value of the asset is kept higher than the normal. And also, if we have a building that is linked to the digital building, we can have an ongoing optimized choice of materials for the maintenance, and we can support much more a sustainable environment because we continue to monitor the efficiency of the building, and we can of course use different materials, for example, to further reduce the CO2 or optimize the work within the building. Improved, of course, we have improved communication within the operator of the building and the people working in the building and the occupiers, depending, of course, of the final usage of this. And of course, last but not least, of course, with the use of digital building since the very beginning, thinking about how the building need to operate and be positioned is supporting a transformation of the asset into a sort of customer-centric mindset type of asset. Well, this is, in a nutshell, in 20 minutes, everything I wanted to share with you about the data through the life cycle of a building and how can be better supported through the existence of or the adoption of a digital building platform. So thank you very much indeed.
Round of applause for Pierpaolo. Grazie mille, Pierpaolo. Prego. And yes, Italians are not well known to be on time, so sorry, Pierpaolo, we don't have time.
It's 5 minutes.
We don't have time for questions. Well, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
Next, we have another panel discussion. So we have a mix of in-person and virtual. So I would like to call to the stage Swain Johnson,